Odalia Blight is coming to the Owl House, and we should all probably be very afraid. When it comes to the hopes, dreams, and expectations of what we can see in the upcoming Season 2 of the Owl House, I believe Amity's parents are already high up on that list. Not solely because we want to see the people who have caused Amity so much emotional distress that we think they're going to be cool characters that we can kick it with, but because of what their appearance means for the characters, especially the Blight siblings. But considering Odalia and Alador's appearance in Young Blood Old Souls during Lilith's flashback, my continued suspicions that they have some kind of correlation is one that has yet to be invalidated. In fact, I believe Amity's mother Odalia is about to serve a role that would put her in direct opposition with Ida and definitely Lilith. Allow me to explain. And if you're down for more Owl House content to satiate you during this hiatus, alongside coverage of other cartoons old and new, please be sure to subscribe and hit that bell for notifications, because we're only getting started. I think a development many viewers were hoping to see unfold during the first season of the Owl House was the development of Amity and Lilith's dynamic as a student and mentor. Alas, such a development never came to be, but for good reason, as data tears revealed in the now iconic Owl House AMA that Amity and Lilith really aren't that close. They both further the other's goals, but that's about it. However, after Young Blood Old Souls, I believe these two characters, more so Amity, will begin to change their tune. Because although it was not addressed in the season finale, Lilith definitely can no longer serve in the Emperor's Coven, as she betrayed Belos by aiding Luce, King, and Ida, being caught in the act by the man himself. Now, Belos did pardon Ida under the disguise of, "Oh, the Titan told me to spare her," which was a convenient out for both Belos and the writers. I assume it'd be pretty rough to maintain the title and premise of the show if Ida was either petrified into stone or on the lam on a much more severe level than before. Sure, throughout Season 1, she was the wanted Owl Lady. But imagine how often the Emperor's Coven would be pulling up after she evaded petrification without Belos' public pardoning. Not to mention, Belos got what he wanted from Luce and Ida, the gateway between Earth and the demon realm. However, just because Belos has let Ida and Luce somewhat off the hook, letting them roam around the Boiling Isles as free spirits, that doesn't necessarily mean that Lilith is in the clear. After everything that went down, I don't think Belos would just accept her back into the Emperor's Coven with open arms. I don't think he would settle for a stern talking to. I simply believe that Lilith is out of the Emperor's Coven. And if anything, she could now be the one with a wanted poster. However, this would also mean that there's a slot open for leader of the Emperor's Coven, a role that I believe will lead into the introduction of Odalia and Alador Blight, with Odalia taking over the role. Why? One simple reason. When it comes to Amity's parents, it definitely feels as if Odalia is the one who holds the most control over Amity, and thus, the one who has the most friction with Amity, the one who has probably done the most damage. Hell, it already sounds like she forced Amity to dye her hair green in an attempt to have her children color coordinated. This is a woman who's already micromanaging every step of Amity's life. Lilith and Hexside were Amity's only escape from her mother, and narratively, it makes perfect sense to me that one of those routes for escape would instead reroute itself right back to Odalia. And what more of a frustrating, nerve-wracking, terrifying path to take than none other but the mentorship role. And considering Odalia's sinister expression towards Lilith and Ida during the aforementioned season finale flashback, I again can't help but to imagine that the Clawthornes and the Blights had some sort of rivalry in the past. I would not even be surprised if Odalia was the one behind Lilith being bullied, as revealed in Ida's student record at the end of Something Ventured, Something Framed. Where would this ultimately go? Well, obviously, Amity would not be able to tolerate her mother having even more control over her life, and in her desperation, convince Luce, Ida, and Lilith that they have to figure out a way to get Lilith back into the Emperor's Coven, a mission that could obviously backfire horribly. I could even see this desperate situation coming back full circle to the end of Season 1 and potentially resulting in Lilith's petrification, as you don't introduce an irreversible death machine unless it'll eventually serve a role in the story with big, tear-jerking payoff. And I assume Luce's role in all of this will be aiding Amity through this difficult time, the friend group becoming more intimate with the Blight family, and potentially even devising a plan to change their minds. I also want to put out there that Amity was deliberately put on a bench during the final 2 episodes of Season 1, something that I feel could tie directly into her parents and the prospect of this plot point. Think about it, we still don't have confirmation on the current day occupations of the Blight parents, and even with their wealth, it's still shocking to think that they had the position and influence necessary to make sure that Willow was never admitted to Hexside. Luckily, that never came to fruition, but how does one land such direct power? Not to mention, for something as big of a deal as the Emperor's Coven, you would imagine it would be chock full of high-ranking witches. Sure, there are the exception of the Coven leaders, and you would imagine that each Coven would have multiple adults, each instructing and leading their mentees, which, going off the flashback, Odalia could be assisting in the Oracle Coven, while Alador is assisting in the Abomination Coven. Hell, the silhouette of the Abomination Coven's leader does bear a striking resemblance to Alador's silhouette, potentially hinting at some kind of relation, but again, they're just outlines. But considering what we know about Amity's parents, the decision to leave her out of the field trip really has me thinking. If Amity did attend, we would have definitely uncovered more information about the Blight family. And going off what we know about her mother, I would not put it past Odalia to make sure that she mistakenly bumps into the field trip in order to observe her daughter in a school setting up close and personal. Because again, I do find it more likely that Amity's parents are in the Emperor's Coven. Because narratively, they would not have Lilith's position filled in by some schmuck, and I do not believe that Belos' right-hand man will fill in that role either, as he appears to be a character that they want to keep aloof and shrouded in mystery. Although you can argue that the new character Dana only illustrated half of a face could be the menacing force that fills in this role. But again, considering whoever takes up this mantle will more than likely become Amity's mentor, where's the drama in that? That's not to say I want to see Amity emotionally tortured by her mother, but rather, I'm ready to see Amity stand up to her mother, to develop further as a character, to finally self-actualize and be the witch she wants to be, not the witch her parents expect her to be. But as always, these are just my thoughts, and I want to hear yours. What do you think? What role do you believe Odalia Blight will play in the Owl House Season 2? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, or tweet your thoughts at Roundtable Vids. And for more of my own thoughts, you can find me at OstrikVox on both Instagram and Twitter. Special thanks to JANKYBONES for creating an awesome thumbnail. For more of their amazing art, you can find them on Tumblr at JANKYBONES, Twitter and Instagram at BoneJanky, and subscribe to their YouTube channel. Link in the description. If you enjoyed this video, please throw it a like and subscribe to the Roundtable for more great cartoon content. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have an awesome day. OstrikVox, signing out.